Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Matthew. I'm on lunch break, and I thought I'd just talk about two quick topics. So, I saw a story that James Tallarico's interview on CBS was not aired. And according to Stephen Colbert, this is because CBS is afraid of the FCC. Now, let's also add additional layers to that. It's owned by a gentleman by David Ellison, who now has owned the conglomerate, Paramount, Skydance as a company, which they own MTV, various other programming, and they're bidding for Warner Brothers Studio against Netflix. Now, I believe that because David Ellison is someone who's very close to Trump, intentionally, had this stopped. I believe that that's just their leadership, based who they put in charge of the CBS News. I recently heard that 60 Minutes, Anderson Cooper is potentially going to step down. I also find it kind of, you have James Tallarico running in Texas against Jasmine Crockett, which are two very great candidates to select. I find it interesting. It seems that they're more afraid of James Tallarico, and in my opinion, okay, and I'm not saying everybody in Texas is racist, by the way. I'm just saying that, okay, I just want to put that out there. But I believe that they're more afraid of James Tallarico because they have more confidence that their constituents are not going to sway for them because of Jasmine Crockett being a black woman, which I think is terrible. And they feel more confident in attacking James Tallarico because they're like, hey, we can't have him because we feel more confident of defeating Jasmine. But here's the thing. Jasmine Crockett has definitely set up a platform for herself and displayed herself as a fighter. She is the individual you hear about in lots of these committee hearings, attacking these individuals in the administration who have done terrible things, calling them out, and standing her own ground. Like, you want a fighter, Jasmine Crockett is the individual. Now, I also say, James Tallarico has his own style of definitely putting people to, in their place, I guess, or to self-reflect and say, I recognize your pain, but let's go why this option that you're going down or this path that you're going down is not right. So I think they're great. I wish I had those options here in upstate New York. I live in New York's 21st district, and, we've had a Republican win for, I believe, 35 years. It was some crazy number, but not in my lifetime, apparently. So, and there's no prominent Democrat. So if I had, Jasmine Crockett or James Tallarico in my area, I would be honored to have individuals like them who are fighters on our side. I think it's terrible the fact that the FCC can be weaponized to shut out freedom of speech. Now, there's some individuals who are going to say, Matthew, this is because of equal airtime when you're, running for candidacy, that you can't have James Tallarico on there when you're not giving, the other side, whether it be Republican or opposing Democrat, equal airtime. Now, I think the context of those interviews matters, right? Because we've seen this happen many times where individuals have gone on there, had interviews with shows. I think that the fear also comes from President Trump attacking. I think The View has been under fire because of, they've had individuals, political candidates on their show interviewing. And, of course, Trump just gets angry with any time that anyone's not paying attention to him or the Republican Party. But if everyone was paying attention, like in Fox News, only having Republicans on or majority, they could give two shits. It's not about that. It's all about control. It's all about them, getting attention. They're spoiled brats. So if you want to check out, just to close this, the interview, apparently it's on YouTube with Stephen Colbert and James Tallarico. It's sad that, Stephen Colbert's show is going to be off air, but hopefully Stephen Colbert will be able to have another platform. Hopefully there'll be other avenues. Cable news is kind of going down in viewership, but you can't deny it still has some influence, right? That's where lots of older individuals get their information, and we need every demographic to be informed about what's happening in this country and to still maintain their empathy. And a lot of these programs and these, pundits and hosts lack empathy and any conviction when they're talking about these topics. They completely disregard the human element in some of these stories. So hopefully we don't not lose our humanity any further than we already have as a country. So I want to end off just maybe on a lighter note, but maybe not light, but also make light and have fun with this topic. But I was thinking that someone put a comment and said, social media is going to be a time capsule of this moment. And I think it's going to give us more information, more in-depth analysis about where not only businesses stood, politicians, the rich, but where everyday American citizens and non-citizens stood in this issue. And I think it's going to be a lot of accountability, but I want to go even further to like these shows where they talk about ancestry and individuals sharing a story where they like, oh, my family members were fought against slavery, and then they found out that they were actually slave owners. So I picture like right now people going, oh, my family member, they were a person who was an anti-ICE protester. And they were like, actually, based on social media posts and other videos shared by your family member, we found out they were not only pro-ICE, they were also an officer in ICE. And the person's like, no! And just like devastated. I imagine that that's our history, right? Imagine finding out like, oh, DNA tests actually show that Stephen Miller was a relative of yours. No! Right? I just imagine that like the people are like, no! Oh my gosh! Where do I donate? Where do I make up for this? I'm so ashamed. That's what I see. Like imagine Pam Bondi like being yours, or Donald Trump, or anyone. But I really see people really denouncing and fighting against that. So it's definitely going to be very interesting. I think that I was just watching a car pass by. But I think that's where our future is going to be. Not only like, people going back and going, hey, I'm buying this product from this business in the future. And where did this company stand during this time? Oh my gosh, they were like a supporter of Trump and the dehumanization of these people. Oh my God, they donated to the Trump ballroom and also contributed towards all of these data centers, which, poisoned so many people in their water and these communities. And they supported this individual who was doing terrible things at the time. So I'm not going to be able to see that, in my lifetime, those DNA results and people being shocked. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how like museums and other organizations kind of account for this. But it's like, geez, there's so much traffic right now. Everyone's like watching me. So, I mean, could you imagine? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm already right now, to tell you the truth, a little bit like having difficulty dealing with the fact of family members supporting Trump, and despite all of this, because I want to say that a lot of Trump supporters and MAGA individuals, as I read online, and I plan to talk about this further in another video, as I read it, I see that they are experiencing pain. I see that they're upset, but they lack empathy and compassion for other people who are experiencing pain. And they want to do this game where my pain's greater than yours. I worked hard for what I have. And then they're like not really empathetic to anyone else, but want empathy in themselves. And they're not even sometimes expressing that they want empathy, but you can tell by the outwardly expression of their frustration that they are definitely in pain. I also it's very interesting on social media today, to be honest, to watch people expressing their discomfort and distress right now, and other people completely lacking any compassion, like saying, oh my God, like just get over it. Just there's this acceptance in this country where we just love to shit talk on other people, like pick up yourself by bootstraps, just stand up and fight, right? We all have difficult moments. I think that if we had a more compassionate environment, that we would have a much better outcome, and we probably would never have been in this place. I think the lack of compassion is just the pushing down, like, we're not going to talk about slavery, we're not going to talk about all the terrible things we've done, let's hide it, let's not talk about it. That allows us to get where we are, where we're just dehumanizing people. I mean, ICE is building facilities. I captured screenshots in a future video of comments about the Hudson Valley here in New York ICE facility that they're going to create, and the comments are just terrible. I mean, there's certain people, I'm going to say this here, that are obviously in opposition of this and are standing up and voicing their opinion. But the people who are voicing support. Some of them I think they're bots, because when you look at their profile, there's nothing but posts that are political. And you look at when their accounts were created, and then I go into other individuals that they're in relationships with. I was like, oh, your account was created in the same time and you only have one picture? This is interesting, right? I mean, you can hide your profile and things, so it makes it only certain things are visible, but I think that a lot of these are bots, but then I have to admit, some of them aren't, because I know some of these people and they're saying they sound a lot like these bots. They regurgitate the information. They regurgitate the hate. And I hope that one day, when I look back and individuals are expressing it, I will be honest, to be honest. I will be completely honest about where those family members stood at the time. And I have feelings of why they feel that way. I think there's certain individuals that definitely exhibit the lack of compassion, and it makes sense in that area. They're very quick to judge other people, even in small micro kind of examples that I see, like whether they're picking on other people, making fun of them, laughing at other people's misfortune, celebrating at other people's misfortune. It's that same characteristic and trait, but yet they're going through terrible things, and they recognize, for example, they go, oh my gosh, Matthew, you're always there, you're always helpful, you're so kind, but they lack the same compassion with other people. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, by the way. By the way, any video I make, I am not saying I'm perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I want to give grace. I want to give space for people to, be accountable. But there's never a time where I'm going to completely, let's say like, oh, it's okay. No, you need to take accountability for your actions. That's the only way we're going to learn. By giving a free pass to individuals, it's not going to make things better. It just allows them to bury that. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm being affected now. And you're like, okay, come join us. No, you have some atonement to do. You have some accountability here. You have, some things to make up for. You can't just, be forgiven completely and just not think that there's not going to be work behind it. So there are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I mean, social media, time capsule. I hope we witness the day where that regret is coming. I hope we witness the time where we all unite and we realize that really it's us against them. They could give two craps about us. I hope people learn how to have empathy. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Bye.